Hello, Raven fans, Oriole fans. This is Charles here with Ravery Sports. So today, thank you for joining us on all of our social media platforms that we're showing this on today: Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So thank you for joining. Like and subscribe to all of our social media platforms. Also, too, at the bottom of the screen, Bravery Sports at Gmail. So if you're looking for any merchandise, you can go ahead and reach out. And Genesis Notary Services slash Facebook, my notary business. If you're looking for any notary services in the Shenandoah Valley area. What are we talking about today? So the Ravens and Lamar are not on the same page. I did want to go ahead and talk to you guys today about that. So we're going to go ahead and risk it here, do a little fair use of the little Stephen A. Smith he was talking to yesterday on First Take about Lamar and his camp reaching out to him and going ahead and talking about the contract. So let's go ahead and go over that.
I want to make sure that I'm clear about I'm echoing what Lamar camp yesterday. And I was absolutely emphatically assured Lamar Jackson has never asked for a fully guaranteed deal.
Fair
Now,
use.
I don't want to
Fair
sit there
use.
and dispute or refute what other NFL insiders for this network and beyond are saying. I don't cover the NFL like that. They do. So I'm not questioning anybody's reporting or anything like that. I would never do that to my colleagues and contemporaries. I would never disrespect anybody like that. But I just want to make sure that I'm clear about I'm echoing what Lamar Jackson's camp said because they reached out to me personally yesterday. A, they have never asked for a fully guaranteed contract. B, the number that the Baltimore Ravens stopped at was $133 million guaranteed. This is with them knowing Deshaun Watson got $230 million, that Kyler Murray got $189 million, that Russell Wilson got $165 million. The Ravens supposedly, according to Lamar Jackson's camp, has stopped at $133 million. Now, that is an insult, if true. There is no excuse to lowball. That is a lowball offer in today's market. Everybody and their grandmama knows it. Deshaun Watson is the outlier. We got that. They don't have the Ravens are on no obligation to meet that crazy deal that the Cleveland Browns gave Deshaun Watson. But don't tell me that what Kyler Murray got, Lamar Jackson doesn't deserve. Lamar Jackson deserves $200 million guaranteed. And I also heard that this guy, Todd Monken, who's the new offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, who came from Georgia, not one of the NFL teams, from Georgia, although the reigning two-time national champions. Lamar Jackson was never consulted or talked to or asked what his opinions would think. He was informed, this is your new boss at the offensive coordinator spot who will be calling plays for you, et cetera, et cetera. Doesn't have a number one receiver, even though Bateman and DuVernay, not Ava DuVernay, Devin DuVernay, not Ava, Devin. All right, even though they can play, he has no number one receiver, has no number one tight end, and this is what his situation is. And so with all of that being considered, again, his durability is a question mark. There is nothing wrong with the Ravens being suspect about that, but I'm finding it a tad bit odd that all of these stories and these questions are coming out about Lamar Jackson that, to me, is evading the issue. Baltimore Ravens, did you or did you not lowball this man with an offer of $100?
There you go. There is the $12 million reporter for ESPN. Like everybody else says, Stephen A. Smith. Speaking apparently to Lamar, he's kept saying Lamar's camp. I'm assuming, and I don't know this obviously, so this is I'm thinking he's talking to Lamar himself about this. This is big deal, okay? I purposely waited. I know there was a lot of videos that you probably watched yesterday about this, all of you about this. I purposely waited for this reason, because Lamar, he would have, two things. One thing that makes me believe this is true. One thing is Lamar usually somebody here has said this morning. He would have came out on Twitter or something and been like, "Well, this is baloney. This is whatever." Blah blah blah. There's been nothing from Lamar refuting that. So that tells me it's been about what we're recording this at 10:30 on Saturday. First take was yes. So that tells me that that this is accurate because Lamar hasn't said anything on social media or anywhere else saying, all right, well, this isn't true. This isn't what he said. The fact that he went out and actually sought out the media to go ahead and say this is a big deal because this is not at all what the Ravens have been saying. Another thing here. This is several times now. This is not no longer an accident for me that the Ravens have kind of said one thing and then Lamar turns around and says something different. I remember the first time this was game where a couple years ago where the Ravens were going for the rushing record. I think it was 100-yard games. I forget the number of games, but it was like the record of how many times. And Harbaugh goes out and says, yeah, we wanted the team, and I went to the team, and I wanted to go ahead and make sure that they broke it, and they were okay with this. Because Lamar went in the game, and he slid about 6 yards and said, okay, then we broke the record. Instead of, kneeling because the game was about over. Harbaugh goes out and says that. They asked Lamar, said, yeah, Harbaugh's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I thought we were just going to go win. Now, that's one thing. But even this year, past year with the injury, Harbaugh and the team, they say one thing, and Lamar goes out and says something else. And also with this, obviously, they go out and say Lamar wants to be here, the presser, Lamar wants to be here, etc. And then Lamar comes out again today, like he did with Stephen A, and says something different. So you're not talking. Any relationship where you see this, where one side keeps saying one thing and the other side keeps saying the other thing, you're not on the same page. So this is clearly a disconnect. This is more for me a first-time belief, thinking that there's a big disconnect here between the Ravens and Lamar because they're clearly not talking about stuff like they're saying. The Ravens keep saying that they're talking to Lamar and they're clearly not on the same page. Let's talk about what Stephen A. talked about. The number has been reported in several different places of what Lamar was asking for. I've heard the guarantees were as high as $200 million. In one case, Lamar and his camp is saying it's 133 in guarantees as far as that goes. So again, the disconnect of what they're going ahead and getting. Now again, the Ravens again, and this is alleged that they have a history of like lowballing these guys, of lowballing players. I think I've said that before, of not making standardly. A lot of times, what I've heard is they make an offer slightly less than the market. A lot of times, that's probably like in tune with they've done several times. So that's not that unusual. And so they're not probably, and they're not the only team that's ever done that. But for whatever reason, it didn't move anywhere. The offer didn't move anywhere to what Lamar's going to get. Couple things. They are not going to get Lamar for a lowball. They need to stop. They need to stop. If you need to stop trying to lowball him, stop trying to. That's not going to work. He's not going to go for that. Everybody keeps saying he should have an agent. Let me tell you something. Agents make a deal, period. People involved make the best deal sometimes. Agent's going to make a deal. I mean, of course he wants to make a deal because he doesn't want an agent will always want to make a deal to make his money. If you have somebody representing you, of course they're going to want to do a deal. Of course they're going to want to do something to make his money. Lamar just going to wait. And clearly they're not on the same page. They're not talking. My suggestion, not that they would care about my suggestion, I wonder if they've actually been to his house. I mean, I think that's what I remember Magic Johnson showing up at LeBron James' house like at midnight, right when free agency started, so he could sign with the Lakers. Have the Ravens done that? I don't know exactly where Lamar lives. I don't know if he lives in, I heard maybe Florida or Kentucky or his house in Baltimore. I mean, have you taken a trip to his house, talked to his family, tell him how much, that might go along. I don't think they've done that because they're clearly not talking on the same page here. They're clearly all kilter on this. So I am not nearly as confident now after hearing that because I know one thing: that guy did not go out there and say that. Stephen A. Smith did not go out there and say that's kind of not what he does. Just go out there and just make up stuff like that. He'd be in a lot of trouble, and the ESPN be in a lot of trouble. So he didn't make that up. And Lamar hasn't come out here in about a day and refuted it. So that tells me there's a lot. Clearly, the Ravens and them are not on the same page, not talking. So this is another layer of the drama, and we're getting to the point now where we're going to see, I think, things are trending down for Lamar staying with the Ravens after that. That's my first take of it. And so clearly these guys are not on the same page. We'd love to see this get done for the Ravens, but do you want to, and also too, I'm going to ask this question, do they really want to do it? Everybody's mentioned the injuries. Everybody's mentioned him being hurt. Are the Ravens just giving us a smoke screen? Just, maybe they really don't want to do this. And they're just, okay, they just don't want to say it and lower the value. And they just, it could be just a smoke screen for them. So they're very good at that. It could be, I'm thinking that could be it too. And maybe they really don't want to, maybe they really don't believe. And so they're making these little ball offers and they're making, that could be it as well. So interesting to see how the Ravens respond to this. I have not heard anything. I figured they might have said something, but I haven't heard anything from the Ravens yet either on as far as responding to this. So we will go ahead and we continue to follow this here. Made a little standalone video. If you like this type of content, like and subscribe to all of our various social media pages and check out this week on Thursday, the Ravori Sports podcast. All right. Thank you, Raven fans, Oriole fans. You have a great rest of your day.